afternoon. We call to order the regular meeting of West Valley City Council. We note that we have 6 members of the council present. Council member Jake Fitisimano has been excused this evening. We have our opening ceremony. We turn to Council member Karen Lang for that.
Would you please rise and follow me with the pledge of allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you know, we haven't had any scouts here for a while. So, Anyway, with that, we have our minutes of November 20th. Motion from the council on the minutes. Or not.
Move to accept the minutes of November 20th.
Second.
Property force, any comments on them? Seeing none, all in favor of approving minutes say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously, the minutes are approved. Okay. Next, we have our public comment period. And let's see. I think most of you have talked, but just in case, we do have a public hearing on item 7 on our agenda. This is on the Justice Assistance Grant on Resolution 18-225. If you're here to speak to that, we would ask you to save your comments for just a little bit later on our agenda. These comments are generalized and not necessarily directed at anything on our agenda. It can be anything, maximum 5 minutes, not a debate. So we'll just start through this comment period, and we'll start with Jim Visak.
Good evening, Mayor. I didn't bring my computer, but you know what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to ask to be put on the docket the pet ordinance, not just the cat ordinance, it's the whole pet ordinance I'm talking about. I have read your study minutes from last week. You talked about it was in the study meeting, and I see that there is some resistance about changing the ordinance, and there's some in favor of maybe adopting a similar one as Taylor's bill. What I'm asking for is it not just be for cats, it's for the whole pet ordinance. And when reading the ordinance, it talks about 4 domestic pets. I'm all for the 4 domestic pets rule. It's just where they defined it. 2 cats, 2 dogs, or 2 guinea pigs, stuff like that. I think a responsible owner who has their pet spayed and neutered should be able to have a 3rd cat or a 3rd small dog. I say small dog because having 4 big dogs is kind of tough. So that's where I'm asking for the change, or for an opportunity to be able to get a variance from City Council, where a responsible owner can come before, do whatever needs to be done, and get that variance. I'll give you the numbers of the shelters in there today again. It's up to 137 in cats. Dogs are still at 47. Only 1 cat adopted. So it's up again. Every week it looks like it's going up about 15. There was some resistance about that. Some members think that this isn't that big of a deal, and it may not be in the scheme of things. I know you guys got lots of other things on the Mayor. There's lots of other more important things, but talking with staff, if those members would go talk to staff at the shelter, they would see that there's more people out there like me that are willing to adopt another animal, but they can't because they can't legally in West Valley adopt the animal. You can go to Salt Lake and go to some of the other shelters and adopt, but then you're in violation of the ordinance. I don't want to be in violation of the ordinance. I put this out on several social media sites what I'm trying to do, asking more people to come in, speak to you guys, and I get a lot of response, I'll adopt a cat for you and give it to you. I'm like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do it the right way, and I want it so other people can do it the right way. Last week, most of you were here, and you saw the gentleman who had 4 dogs, and now animal control is, telling him he has to get rid of 2 of his dogs. That is very, very sad. If you're a responsible pet owner, and they're like your babies, like my cats are, and a few weeks ago, I showed you, I had mine tattooed on me. I've also made, in my trust, funds for them if I was to pass, a person to take care of them, and funds for them. That's what a responsible owner who loves their animal, does. Spayed and neutered, mine are strictly indoor. I'm all for, all those regulations, rules, and stuff like that. It's just the definition of where it's the 2 and 2 is where it hurts me, and that's where I'm asking for a change. That if somebody wants to, have a 3rd cat, having more than 3 cats is a lot of work, but that's what I'm asking for. I'd like to come to one of the study meetings when I know it's on the docket, and I'm in constant contact with my city council person. And so I'm constantly asking him. I didn't realize last week it was going to be on the docket, or else I would have been here to give you my points about it. And so that's it for me. So thanks.
Thank you. Next we have Ben Young. So close to
Hi there, Mayor. I appreciate your time and hearing me on this matter. I was here last week to advocate for my family, for my 4 pups. Here's a picture of them. I always get emotional when I talk about them because I love them so much. Every day I come home, they're the one constant. I don't have to do anything. I just walk in the door and they're excited to see me. I'm here like my friend Jim there to advocate for putting the pet ordinance back on the docket here. Yesterday I had animal control come by my house again, not because my dogs did anything wrong, but just because they're again reaffirming that they want me to get rid of half my family here, and I hope that we can, if there's anything that can be done, like if I could maybe get issued a stay or a variance, just a temporary one while we have discussions on this, so that we don't continually get harassed by animal control while the city council and we're having discussions and studies on this. If there's just something we can do, I'm heartbroken. I've been trying to work with friends and family, seeing if someone can help me out and take them in while we get this figured out, but it's just been very difficult. It's really hard to find someone that can take in an additional pets. A lot of people already have pets, or is just not able to, can't support any pets at this time. I'm having trouble finding help, and I'm just seeking assistance, like I said, to see if I can get a stay on something, just as we try to figure this out and get more discussion on the matter. I'm also gonna, reaching out to social media groups, seeing if I can get more support to come in here to our city to show how important of an issue this is, and that it's not just a couple of us here. That there is a lot of people that want this to be changed, and I'm sure like we get the word out, we'd be able to get more support coming into these meetings. Also, I'd also like to participate in study meetings if I can, because I'm also looking at all the information. I'd like to add more discussion into the matter. In West Valley, we're always advocating that we have a no-kill animal shelter here, and what we want to try to do is save lives. And as as Jim has brought up here, there's been, the numbers are not going down. The shelters are overfilled, packed, and we have a lot of responsible pet owners that can take on more but can't do so legally. And like Jim, he wants to be able to do it legally. He doesn't want to, do things that want to try to subvert the ordinance. I just wish there was something that can be done, because animal control, when they came out yesterday, they're putting us on a 1-week deadline here, and it's just not enough time for my family and I to be able to make these arrangements. We're doing our best, but it's just so hard. And last week I don't know who to break up with my family. It's just these they won't hurt. They don't hurt anybody. They're just 4 little innocents, and it's just hard, because there's so many homeless pets out there, and I feel like we're not doing anything wrong. Just the fact that they're there is the violation. I just don't understand. It's hard for me to accept, so many animals are abused and stuff. We got, bad people roaming the streets, vandalism and everything. But constantly, we get harassed by animal control just because we have 4, no other violation, but just that. I don't understand it. I just hope that you can reconsider putting on this docket, please, or giving me time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thomas J. Jackson.
Most of you know me. I've been here before. I'm Thomas Jackson, the West Valley representative for the Salt Lake County Bicycle Advisory Committee. And so I was amazed to see the new bike lanes on 41st South. I'm like, whoa, are we really going someplace with this? So I'm just thank you for your putting up with the grumbling comments I've made. So we're really making some progress. I'm also here to talk about the Jordan River Trail. Last spring, 100-mile trail system you can ride from West Valley to the mouth of Ogden Canyon. The Jordan Trail connects there. You can ride to Bridal Veil Falls from West Valley on the Jordan Trail. It's connected. It even goes through Lehigh in that impossible intersection. UDOT made that possible. So you can ride to Bridal Veil Falls in your bike. The only thing we can't do yet is ride from West Valley, only limited area, from West Valley to Jordan River. So there's one area, it's really a small sign, it's hard to find on Red River Road where you can ride to Jordan River Trail. So I would propose that soon that we finish the lining 41st South to connect that to Jordan River. It's an obvious way to go there to connect. I think there's probably 5 different areas, 5 different roads that could connect to Jordan River. And I'd like you to look at those. With the new improvements that we're seeing here on Jordan River, I think it's really important that West Valley be part of that. Also, there's been a public comment. The West Valley ATP Active Transportation Plan is getting comments. So I guess you're probably aware of that. And so we're passing that along to other cyclists. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Was there anyone else here to make public comments? Seeing none, we'll come back to the city manager. Any comments?
No, sir. I'm good tonight. Thank you.
Okay. To the council, Councilman Bueller.
I would make a comment specific to the pet ordinance. I believe that we will be talking about this in study meeting coming up. I think that was the conclusion that we reached a week or 2 ago. And I don't know when that would be, but our agendas are published online. Invite you to come to the study meeting. It's, I think, very helpful there to hear the information that we receive and to hear us discuss and debate that. There is no public comment in the study meeting. So you want to be aware of that. We do receive your public comments in this meeting, as you know, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. You covered all but one item that I needed to mention, and that is apparently some confusion. When we send out our animal control officers and they are enforcing the law, that is not harassment. They're simply doing their jobs. When people start to look at that as harassment and to blame them and say they're harassing, they're not, they're simply upholding the law. I mean, you could say the same for a policeman who pulls someone over for a traffic ticket. They're just doing their job. So please do not focus your negative comments and feelings towards those employees who are simply doing what they're required to do by law or city ordinance. I just caution you on that part. I understand that people have strong feelings regarding their pets, but you should talk with the policymakers regarding that. So just needed to put that in. Mr. Pyle?
Just to that point, Mayor, and I completely agree with what you're saying, and I wasn't in the regular meeting last week. I had to leave, but I was in the study meeting. My memory is the same as what was expressed, that the council desired to have a reexamination or a look, particularly at possibly what Taylorsville's doing. So we are planning on bringing that back. Having said that, and again, agreeing with exactly what you're saying, Mayor, but we certainly can grant some sort of a stay administratively to the gentleman and his 4 dogs. I can make that happen at the administrative level, so that while you are considering this, he isn't having to, find another home for his animals until such a time as the council decides what they're doing. So I can do that. We can take care of that issue. Having said that, again, maybe I'm saying this for the 3rd time now, but yeah, the officers are just doing their job out there. If we haven't got that word to them, that's really kind of on me and on Lane. So certainly we have the power to do that while the council's considering that ordinance, and we'll do that.
And I guess that would be fine, although we probably ought to have some time limit on that.
Sure.
You know,
The time limit would just be
not open.
as you guys are considering, as the council is considering the ordinance. So we'll make that happen.
Okay. And as well, thanks for the comments on the bicycles. When I rode down there and saw that lane, I was great. Because not that I'm going to ride it. I don't ride bicycles anymore. Too many things break, and I'm not talking about the bicycle. With that then, we go to our public hearing. And let's begin. This will be on this West Valley City Police Department's application for a grant called the Justice Assistance Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice. This is a grant that's been available a number of times, typically a 3-year, and there are specific things which it's authorized to do, to use the funds for. We apply for that and have been fortunate to receive this grant a number of times. This is a reapplication. The grant is for $101,000, but I think that's spread over 3 years. And it's not split 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, I don't think, is it? I'm trying to remember, but it doesn't matter.
I don't remember either, but I do remember it is the 3 years like you're talking about.
Yeah, so. And we want to continue that, and in the future we will probably, as long as it's available, continue to apply for that. So, this is Resolution 18-225, applying for that. With that introduction, then, we will open public comment on that. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Okay, seeing no hands or anything, no one rushing up here. Then I'll close the public comment portion. We'll bring it back to the council for their discussion or action.
I move forward for the resolution 18-225.
Second.
Properly before us. Any further comments? Then to our assistant city recorder. Is that right? So what's that your title? Okay.
Deputy, I think.
Okay, for the roll call vote.
Councilwoman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we go to resolutions. We have resolution, well, it's number 8 on our agenda. That's a better way to say it, because the last one was a resolution too. So anyway, resolution 18-226. This is to approve our participation agreement between our city and the Governor's Office of Energy Development. This is on a thing called State CPAC District. CPACE, excuse me, not CPAC. CPACE is a program that was started here in Utah. We were the first city and only city to actually arrange that special financing for these types of energy projects. They changed that at the state level, and now the State Office of Energy Development will be the ones who actually do the legwork, the paperwork, etc. on these applications, which is a positive move because, you know, it took work on our part to get that. So we feel this is a good move. And there is a fee on it, but the fee is charged to those participating in the service. Wheeler Machinery is actually interested in pursuing that. They would be the second one in the state, I think, unless some other city passes that up. But we are supporting that effort, and that is required basically under the changes that were in that bill that passed. So with that, introduction to the council. For any additional clarifications, or for comments, or for motions.
I would move for approval of resolution 18-226.
Second.
Properly before us. Anything else? Seeing none, to our assistant city recorder.
Councilwoman Lane,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now, that completes our regular agenda. We will have another meeting immediately following this, our special meeting, the redevelopment agency. That is an important piece of business we need to take care of. But that completes our agenda here. So unless there are further comments, a final motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning our regular city council meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and passes unanimously. We're adjourned.
I call to order the special meeting of the redevelopment agency and note that we've had an opening ceremony and all are present except for Mr. Jake Fitisimana. And we have one resolution tonight, so I turn to our executive to introduce that.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we have one item on the agenda tonight, which is a potential incentive agreement between the redevelopment agency and Constitution Boulevard Hotel, LLC or CBH, which would provide for an incentive agreement between the RDA and the hotelier in this case. The project, as you have been briefed on, is a Marriott Spring Hill Suite, which will be located here in West Valley City and in our city center project, within the confines of our city center project. And this incremental deal that we are doing with the city, or I'm sorry, with the hotel would be $1 million split amongst 5 years. The reason for the project is that, also as was briefed to the council or the board, that we asked for and received cooperation from the developer for a larger and a more, I want to say aesthetically pleasing, but and it is, but it has some additional improvements to the building, which they were able to do partially with this money. The project itself, cost-wise, is actually a lot more valuable additionally than the $1 million was added into the project, and will be much better for the overall project. So we're happy to recommend participation in it. There's only 5 years left in that RDA project area anyway, so hence the term for the incentive packages we're proposing it. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Any questions or comments or a motion? Mr. Bigelow?
Just some comments to say thank you to the developer, because those design standards and that we requested as a city are things that we have been trying to do with many businesses as they come into our city. So I think it's great to see that collaboration work, and I know that our staff will also work well, because we have a great reputation of working with businesses. And if you don't believe me, I can refer you to a couple of other cities where it's more difficult. So thanks to our staff and to the developer.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of Resolution 18-10.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, turn to our secretary for the vote.
Ms. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Aye.
Mr. Kuhn,
Aye.
Mr. Bigelow,
Aye.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
Chairman Norfelt.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. That completes our business. So we'll have one more motion, please.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.